Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. We are recapping the week's nerdy news from Daiyu to Mapuzo and everywhere in between. Yes, those are both Star Wars planets seen on Obi-Wan Kenobi because we've been talking a lot about Star Wars lately, and this episode's no different. We're starting with Star Wars, we're ending with Star Wars, but we're not quite there yet. Who am I? Mike Gibson. I'm one of your co-hosts. With me, as always, is Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
Well, apparently a lot of new planets, a lot of new things, and a lot of new Kenobi that has me very excited, but you folks will have to wait till the end of this podcast to hear our Obi-Wanversation for the week.
Yes.
We are going to start it off, however, with a different form of Star Wars, if you'd like to fill the listeners in, Mike.
Yeah, all right. Let's jump right in. So, Lucasfilm has proven themselves in recent years to be, I would say, reactionary. I guess you could say.
Yeah.
They seemingly listen to the loudest parts of the fan base in making their decisions, whether they want to move forward with a Rian Johnson trilogy or, they love making The Last Jedi and everything's the best and it's the best filmmaking experience I've ever had and this movie's going to be great. And then it divides half the fandom and then they're like, oh, just kidding. We're bringing JJ back. Don't worry about all that stuff. We're going to fix it. Or, they want to make all these Star Wars stories and then Solo doesn't do well because of their failure to market it. And then they're like, oh, just kidding. We're not really going to do any more Solo stuff. Well, Steve, this past week, Lucasfilm finally stuck to their guns about something. It was very refreshing to hear. Was it one of their movies? No. It took racism for Lucasfilm and Star Wars to actually stick to their guns and stand up and defend one of their actors. Moses Ingram, who plays Reva, the third sister on Obi-Wan Kenobi, posted earlier this week that she had received hundreds of horrible and deplorable, terrible, racist messages and death threats on her social media. And she shared them on her social media. She shared some screenshots of them as well as a reaction video from her saying, like, I'm getting hundreds of these. I don't understand why you think this is a good idea. You guys are shouting out the people that are defending her and people that are supporting her, but just saying this is crazy that this is happening. And this is not the first time this has happened. It's very important to this story to know that this is not the first time that actors in Star Wars that are not white men have gotten these kinds of messages. As you may remember, Kelly Marie Tran plays Rose Tico in The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, had to delete all of her social media and leave because she was getting harassed so much. Daisy Ridley, for just being a woman, playing Rey, had to do the same. John Boyega, certainly a victim of racism for being Finn in the sequel trilogy. So this has certainly happened before. But this time...
I mean, even in the prequels, you had Ahmed Best.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks.
And also, not racism related, but the craziness around Jake Lloyd.
Yeah,
for his portrayal of Anakin.
Yeah, Star Wars fans and Star Wars actors have been harassed many a time. I think Jake Lloyd is an anomaly for the fact that he's actually a white male who harassed,
but was
just
a kid.
He was a child, exactly. He was a
Right.
child. So that's also terrible. So, refreshingly, and most welcomingly for me and for Steve as well.
Concur.
Lucasfilm or the official Star Wars social media posted a response to this. Firmly backing Moses Ingram and denouncing racism in all forms. The official Star Wars social media accounts posted this following statement. We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we have only one thing to say. We resist. There are more than 20 million sentient sentient species in the Star Wars galaxy don't choose to be a racist. I saw that, like, it was like the first thing that I saw when I woke up on whatever day they posted it. Like, I just opened my phone, checked Twitter real quick, and that was it. And I was like, wow, I love this. I love this. I wish they'd done it for Kelly Marie Tran and John Boyega when that was happening. But I'm glad that they're taking steps to say something and do something about it now. And if that wasn't enough, Ewan McGregor himself, Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, I don't know that he officially has social media, but he recorded a video of himself post with a message that was also posted by the official Star Wars accounts saying, among other things, this is not the entire quote.
Yeah, it was a long clip that was extremely well done. Yeah,
it was a little over a minute. It was very well spoken. But he ended it by saying, Moses is a brilliant actor. She's a brilliant woman, and she's absolutely amazing in this series. She brings so much to this series. She brings so much to this franchise, and it just sickened me to my stomach to hear that this had been happening. As the leading actor on the series, as the executive producer of the series, I want to say that we stand with Moses. We love Moses. If you're sending her bullying messages, then you're no Star Wars fan in my mind. Huge words from Ewan McGregor. I loved seeing that as well. So I guess I don't really know what to say about this other than I'm really happy that they're coming out against it, and it just continues to be terrible. Because, I mean, the other thing is that Star Wars posted this defense of her, and Ewan McGregor posted this defense of her, and racist Star Wars fans got mad about it and started posting more on, in response to that. Like, how dare you silence us and blah, blah, blah. Like, the classic, like, I'm not racist, but you shouldn't be discounting anybody's opinion. Like, okay, well, if you're, like, they're saying don't be racist. If you're mad that someone's telling you not to be a racist, then that probably means that you are a racist.
Yeah.
And you want to be a racist, and you're mad someone's telling you that you cannot be a racist. So I don't care what those people think. I'm really glad that Star Wars officially and Ewan McGregor have come out swinging, seemingly, against this kind of behavior. I just wish they'd done it sooner, but I'm glad they're doing it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, with the Kelly Marie Tran stuff, that was just completely incomprehensible.
Completely horrible.
Boyega, same thing. I mean, with I guess third time's the charm. Like, it was finally enough for them, but it should have happened earlier. I'm glad it happened. It's just good to see someone finally, like a studio finally stamping down on it and saying, no, this is not okay. She's been absolutely amazing in this series. She's an absolutely amazing actress and deserves none of this backlash, and nobody does.
I mean, we'll get to my thoughts on her character later in our Obi-Wanversation at the end of this episode, but I agree with you. I think she's tremendous. I feel like, I mean, I'm sure there are people that can have legitimate problems with the way her character is or the way the story is being written or whatever, and that's, like, fine, but there's clearly people that are pushing this because they don't like seeing black people in Star Wars. They just
it's the standard. You can dislike her character. You can dislike Moses Ingram as an actor for all I care. Like, if it's on her stage merits, that's one thing. But there is no place for anywhere in any way, shape, or form for it to be anything other than I did not like what she did in her professional get up.
Yeah. But it's also tough because I feel like smart racists that they pose
is that
it like
an
that.
Oxymoron?
I think it is, but like they pose it like that.
Yep.
They say, I don't like said this about their character and blah blah blah. But I feel like if you drill down and with that person into that conversation, you will eventually get to something that is a bit of a red flag. Like, oh, okay, I see where the root of this is.
If you were like, oh, she was amazing in Queen's Gambit, but I didn't like what she did as Reva, it's one thing. But
exactly. I think it was a comic artist that I follow on Twitter, Jen Bartel, who's an incredible professional comic book artist. She posted a really long and kind of in-depth thread about why certain Star Wars fans have misinterpreted the message of the franchise, starting with Episode 4, identifying with Luke Skywalker, but more so as like, here's this white boy that is special because of who he is and the way he was born, gives him the right to be this, gives him the keys to all this power and authority and stuff. And they view it as like a coming from nothing and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, like classic, like kind of like white nationalism, like talking points, which I guess I can see, but like I feel like most, and it's certainly not the way not the point of the movie as it was intended. Is more of just like, this is a kid that's giving up his life as he knows it, walking away from his comforts to join a force to take on an authoritarian regime, a fascist regime. And that is the real point of his story. It's not the fact that he is white and is deserving of all this like power and heroics. It's the fact that he is sacrificing part of his own comfort and part of his own life to defeat an authoritarian regime, to save other people, to help other people. And that's the same. And basically her point was like, that's the genesis of the misunderstanding, which leads all the way through to why people hated The Last Jedi. Were like, oh, he failed? He can't possibly fail because he's me. I'm white. I'm important. I should have all this power too. So if he failed, they're saying that I failed too. And so it's like, I don't know. She made some really good connections. I'm sure you can find it on her Twitter if you want to read that.
Yeah.
But it was very, I mean, not eye-opening, but it was some detail that I feel like, because I think it's easy for Star Wars fans like you and me to be like, how do these people misinterpret the point of these movies? Like, these movies are about taking down fascism. How do you misinterpret that as anything else? But that like kind of connected some dots to be like, okay, I guess I can see how some idiots would see it that way.
Right. And I mean, it's weird. I know I've talked to you and I've talked to a couple of other of my friends. Like, I grew up in the middle of nowhere. I grew up in, a relatively backwoods area with a lot of relatively backward thinking. Yeah. But at the same time, it's a culture shift, and some of not to defend any of it, but some of the racism and the not overt racism comes from a set of ignorance or just the status quo. That sort of thing seem like it, in my experience, usually can be subverted and people can learn. And then there's plenty of other people that are just flat out, like you flat out assholes for no other.
They know like, enough to know better. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's such a, I don't know. I still can't comprehend it. Like you said, the two of us just sitting here being like, how do they do it? Like, even though I can see how it happens, it doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't make it right. Yeah. And there's no redeeming quality for any of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, bring it back to Last Jedi. It's like crazy because like they want people saying that they're mad that, Luke Skywalker should be this like hopeful, never give up, kind of like just positive, always moving forward kind of attitude. And I don't want to see him like this. A lot of those people are the same people that look at Kelly Marie Tran as some like an annoying character that's like useless. It's like, yo, you want a wide-eyed, innocent, going for positivity all the time, never give up attitude. Like that is your character. That's your character right there. And you are missing that if you're dismissing the point of her character. It's maybe based on something other than
a mechanic that's doing everything she can to go out and help the rebellion or the resistance at this juncture. That's about her and her sister going out to fight the good fight. Like that's as feel good a story as you need or can possibly get.
I don't know. Like I feel like if you need the main character to be a white man in order to identify with a film, then you got a problem.
You missed the boat somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, great to hear Star Wars coming out in defense of Moses Ingram. Hopefully all those assholes stop sending her racist messages. I'm sure that they won't. because
social media is social media.
Racists are gonna
and racists are racist. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So that is sad, but glad that so many people have come to her defense. All right, moving on from Star Wars temporarily. We'll be back there. Don't worry, guys. We're going to DC in a story that I'll just read the story and talk about it afterwards. Okay, this came from a story. This is a report. This is not even really confirmed, really, in any way. This is like a report from the Hollywood Reporter, and it was talking about how Warner Brothers has named new executives to temporarily take over Warner Brothers Films, the division of Warner Brothers Films, in the interim. Maybe not possibly only temporary. And I didn't even write down the two names of the executives. They're executives from MGM that are going to come over now that Discovery and Warner Brothers have merged. They're going to take over the Warner Brothers Entertainment film section. This is under new CEO David Zaslav. We've talked about him a number of times in the past weeks. So the article was mostly about that, how these two people have come over. There's one paragraph in this article that a lot of nerds have taken with and run with because it's kind of a big deal. And that paragraph said that Warner Brothers and David Zaslav is interested in Todd Phillips coming on as being a consultant on new DC movies moving forward. David Zaslav has his eye on Phillips to be an advisor on all new DC projects. Todd Phillips, if you don't know who I'm talking about, he is the writer and director of the Hangover movies, but also Joker, which was an Oscar-winning and billion-dollar making film starring Joaquin Phoenix as Joker. So this is certainly interesting. I can see from a business standpoint why Zaslav would come in and say, oh, I want to talk to Todd Phillips, because he made a one-off movie, and there's been rumors about a sequel, but it was not put out as being like, this is a franchise. This is going to be a one-off film.
Right.
We certainly haven't heard anything else about a sequel, and Joaquin Phoenix is not somebody that seems like he would want to do a sequel. But, you know, he made a one-off movie for a little bit of money that made $1 billion. So from a business standpoint, yeah, you want to talk to Todd Phillips to see if he's interested in doing anything else in the DC universe. I totally get that. But asking him to come on as a consultant for new stuff when he admittedly is not an expert on DC's main continuity is interesting. I guess that the report went on to say that Zaslav and Phillips have established a certain rapport together after they have met a few times. And again, this is not guaranteed. These two MGM executives are basically going to take over the film portion of Warner Brothers, including DC stuff. But basically what Zaslav is looking for is a Kevin Feige. He wants to organize DC films the way that Disney has organized Marvel films. He wants somebody to work as an overall advisor and consultant on all projects moving forward, like Kevin Feige does with the MCU. Now, moving into my personal opinion, I do not think Todd Phillips is the right person for that job at all. I think that if they're making this decision based on the fact that he made one movie that made $1 billion, this is going to be them falling right down the same path they fell down with Zack Snyder. This like up and coming, snappy, poppy film director. Hey, take all of these movies and run with them, and you can run them right into the ground. A lot of people like the Joker movie, and it's a very well-made film, but it does not, for me, as a diehard DC fan, it doesn't really feel like the Joker that I want to watch on screen. And it should be said that, Phillips is not an expert on DC continuity. Really, all you have to do is watch Joker to understand that, and because he changes it so much. Like, he specifically said it in a world that really can't become modern DC continuity. Like, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is in his 30s or 40s. And Bruce Wayne's a child, so like this isn't ever gonna be a thing where Batman is fighting Joker. It's like specifically made that way. There's certain tie-ins to the broader Batman world, but not very many. And I don't know that Phillips is even interested in that. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm not in love with this, but I also feel like it should kind of be taken with a grain of salt. Like, this is an official report. This has not been confirmed. This could have been they had a meeting about if he wants to make another movie, if he wants to do anything with DC. It's like, based on Joker, I can't see Todd Phillips being like, I got some ideas for Shazam 3 or whatever.
Right.
Or, or Aquaman 3, like a movie that's so wildly a different tone than Joker. And Joker is definitely its own thing. Like, I feel like maybe the Batman is closer to the tone of Joker than anything else we've seen from DC, but like really everything else we've seen from DC in recent years, wildly different from what Joker feels like. Maybe the Batman being the closest. I don't know. What do you think about this?
I don't know. It feels kind of like DC is trying to find its Feige, and this is not the place for them to look.
Yes.
Like, yes. It's that simple. Like, Feige was a lifelong, he was a lifer for Marvel. Like, yeah. He was an active stand for, like, loved the comics, loved the source material. He happened to be in the business and at the right place at the right time. But, like, the opposite of Phillips, where he openly says he doesn't know the source material. Like, Feige could probably quote random, like, what issue some storyline was from to you. And exactly. That if you want to create, based on said IP, a connected, cohesive universe, I would say you would go with the latter more than the former in this case.
I know. I feel like it seems like they just want to, like, look and pluck somebody, but where they really should, like, hold interviews for this job. Yeah. I feel like they should have, like, people, like, you can't tell me there's people that you can't tell me there aren't people that work at Warner Brothers right now that would be a great fit for a job like this. Like, whether they're editors or whether they're writers or what, like you got people working in the DC stuff right now that could easily be like, yo, I got plans for years of what we could do for continuity and connecting stuff. Plus, not that these people would do it, you're going to Todd Phillips when you got Matt Reeves and James Gunn, like, right at your fingertips, bro. Ask those guys. They might be into it more than Todd Phillips. They certainly, I mean, I guess I can't speak. Matt Reeves certainly knows Batman, but James Gunn has proven to know deep DC cuts with the work he did on Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Like, he knows his stuff. You want someone that knows continuity and can make a great movie? James Gunn. He's almost done with Marvel.
Yeah.
Give him some work. Zaslav. Come on.
Well,
man.
that's the thing. Even if it was Gunn, I'm sure, like, knowing Gunn, he wants his creative freedom and to be able to do whatever he wants and all that.
Of course.
Like, yeah. But you're spot on in that someone like him, where, whether I don't see him, like, overseeing all the serious tone stuff, and like, it's not his style, but someone that openly is, like, just like him in the sense that he's throwing random deep cuts into all of his projects and, like, pulling these niche things. It's like, he knows, he has a passion for what the source material is and where it's coming from.
You also don't know, like, the level at which they want somebody to oversee this stuff. Like, they're using the words like advisor and consultant. They're not saying like grand overseer of all scripts and decisions, which I feel like Kevin Feige is. Which, by the way, I didn't feel like this was a big enough story to put in the rundown, but it's coming up, so I'm going to talk about it. They talked about how they're still looking for a director for Fantastic Four, and they're taking their time.
Yeah.
And Kevin Feige said that they are reaching out to, like, some big name, like, Oscar-winning directors. Like, they're trying to get, like, a big name director for it. Because Kevin Feige said, or hinted, or I don't know if a quote from him or someone said it about him, that he enjoyed not having to, like, watch over every aspect of a shoot with Sam Raimi and Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness than he has to do in the past. And I'm just like, I read that and I was like, did he really oversee every aspect of every shoot until Doctor Strange too?
Right.
Like, yo,
Like,
you're
he
doing too
babysat
much work,
everything.
man. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, of course you don't want to do that. That's
Right.
too much work. And I feel like
you've got the
if,
Russo brothers and Chloe Zhao, and you can't leave them alone until
Yeah.
you get Sam Raimi.
right, like no wonder Edgar Wright walked away from Ant-Man and
Right.
whoever else walked away from whatever else because, like, yo, I don't want Kevin Feige breathing down my neck every 10 seconds. So, but I feel like, you know, James Gunn definitely doesn't want to be somebody that is like, I need to be on set every day with everyone else's movies, but I can see him being like giving script notes or tone notes on a thing, you know. So I feel like he would be. I mean, he's done that with Avengers movies and the Guardians of the Galaxy scenes and Avengers and how they're handling that stuff. So I don't know. I would say David Zaslav, we know you're a big listener of this podcast. I would say before you make a move on Todd Phillips, you know, check with Matt Reeves, check with James Gunn.
Yeah.
See what they're up to. See what their level of interest is.
Well, and
before
that's
you want to move forward.
As weird as it is, like Feige
and Kathy Yan, who did Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is an incredible movie. Like, talk to Kathy Yan. Talk to the guy that does Shazam. I can't even think of his name. But yeah. Talk to anybody else.
But that's the thing is that's kind of along the lines of what I was just going to say was, like, Feige started as an associate producer on the original X-Men movies and the original Spidey movies. Like,
yeah, he's been around.
You can find someone in the pantheon of the 8 million DC movies that have been made that has consistently been doing something good, that knows and wants to be an advisor for source material and all that sort of stuff. Like,
yeah,
seems like that'd be a good hit somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know really what he does otherwise, but there's a guy named Michael Olson who's been an executive producer on literally every Batman movie ever made.
Oh yeah.
Maybe ask him a question. See if he's got any ideas.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt. You know, if he's like a high up advisor and just giving some like notes and stuff on some of the darker stuff or some of the more Joker like stuff, fine.
Yep.
But I don't want you telling me what has to happen in, you know, Zatanna or Batgirl or Birds of Prey 2 or whatever. You know, we'll see.
Absolutely.
Not everything has to be like. I mean, that's the lesson that we learned from Zack Snyder, right? I mean, some people haven't learned that because they still want Zack Snyder to return to the DC universe and keep making movies. One, that's not going to happen. But two, I feel like Zack Snyder just tried to make every superhero the same tone and feel all the same and be like, you know, the same kind of thing. Like Todd Phillips made a $1 billion, very well made Joker movie, but like not every hero fits into that mold. Like, certainly Superman doesn't work in that way.
Right.
And we need someone to nail Superman. Please, I'm begging you. Somebody come in that knows how to do Superman. Anyway, moving on. New article from Empire Magazine focused on the upcoming Amazon Rings of Power. Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. Basically, in summation, saying that the Rings of Power show will not really touch Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's not going to tread on that ground. And it's going to do its best to stay out of its way. And I guess, I mean, you would think that is obvious because it takes place like 1,000 years before Lord of the Rings trilogy.
It's in the Second Age, whereas the Jackson stuff is in the Third Age. Like, I think, thousand or thousands of years in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I mean, this read to me is basically them saying, because you and I talked briefly before we started recording, like, there's no way that people aren't going to at least compare it to the quality, to the tone, to the direction, cinematography, whatever, of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's just going to happen. And I think this is their way of saying, like, maybe try not to do that because it's going to be different. That's kind of their way of, like, this is not going to be the same. It's going to be good, but it's going to be our version. It's not going to be Peter Jackson's version. Is that how you interpret it?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you saw the stills, when you've seen, like, even some of the footage we saw in that teaser, there's a lot they've taken stylistically and how they've shot some of the series. Keep wanting to say movie, but these aren't movies. They
cost more than movies.
yeah, with a budget they could be multiple movies. But they have a look to them that is reminiscent and not, but also not wholly stolen from the Jacksonverse.
Yeah.
And even that, I think, will still, like, I get why they did it, because that's what's prominent in people's brains, but also that's going to cause them to immediately compare the two. So once we can, get past that and get people to realize that you're not going to see Bilbo and Frodo out there, I think this is kind of starting to set those expectations of very different story, same races, not going to see, the same hobbits or the same dwarves or the same elves out there. Well, you are going to see some of the same elves, but they're going to look a lot different. Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure at least Galadriel and Elrond have been confirmed.
Elrond, I believe so.
Yep.
Definitely Galadriel.
Yep. Who looks absolutely badass. So, they did also drop a couple of covers where we see a couple of the dwarves, what look to be a couple hobbits, and Galadriel in full battle garb. So,
yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's awesome.
Yeah. So things are looking up for that, and that will fit perfectly into our 8 million things to watch in August and September. Because apparently everyone under the sun has released. I think in August you have House of the Dragon, Andor, and then She-Hulk, and then this, and then I Am Groot, and Miss Marvel will have just finished up. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
A lot going on. Oh my gosh.
You just thinking about our recaps during that time?
Yeah, I know. Like, I feel like we're gonna have to start picking and choosing. Like, at some point, there's gonna be too many shows on the air for us to do a recap of every single one. So, we'll probably touch on. Like, there's gonna be too many for me to even watch. I feel like in a week.
Yeah.
So like, we'll have to pick a couple and just go with that until we want to switch to something else. But you had a quote you wanted to read about the Rings of Power, or did you want us just?
Yeah, no. Basically, it was describing the comparison that we were talking about, where the Patrick McKay, who's one of the showrunners, stated, "We're admirers from afar. That's it. The Rings of Power doesn't try and compete with him." Him being Peter Jackson. And the quote starts with, "Anyone approaching Lord of the Rings on screen would be wrong not to think about how wonderfully right Jackson got so much of it." Like, they're really trying to say, hey, they did it perfect. We're trying to take some of that, but we're not the same show. So it's probably going to have a little bit of a turn, or a little bit of a different tone, rather. I want to say probably a little bit darker, if that's possible. The Second Age wasn't very. Yeah, the Second Age wasn't a very nice time. So, yeah.
I mean, I feel like all indications for me. I don't know. I'm reading a lot of the things that Amazon is announcing as being, we need to have the next Game of Thrones.
Right.
So they're doing Lord of the Rings, they're doing God of War, they're doing Wheel of Time. Like, they're trying to, like, really jumping into fantasy lands, and saying, like, and seemingly, if they're trying to get the next Game of Thrones, they're going to go darker. They're going to go a little bit more intense. I can easily see these being more intense versions of, the family-friendly PG-13 movies that we got.
Yep.
From Peter Jackson, for sure.
There is also another quote that will tickle your musical fancy.
Hit me.
Some of these other competing properties, speaking of Game of Thrones and the everything you were speaking about, some of these other competing properties, they play one octave really beautifully, says McKay, but Tolkien was playing every note on the piano. He had a variety of tones. There's the whimsy, friendship, and humor that Harry Potter is so beloved for, but there's sophistication, politics, history, mythology, and depth too. So for us, it was about going deeper into what we are rather than worrying about what other folks are doing.
Wow.
So they're leaning into it hard, and they're they're basically saying Tolkien was playing 4D chess and everybody else is kind of catching up. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Lord of the Rings is one that I'm excited just to like see what it is all about.
What does $500 million do for you?
Exactly. More than anything else, I'm just like, what is this going to look like? What is it going to feel like? Prove to me that you spent this much money on this show. It just seems crazy. So I'm sure we'll talk about at least the debut episode of Lord of the Rings on Amazon.
Oh yeah.
But we're only two people. We have full lives outside of this podcast. We can't possibly do
Wait, we do?
recaps for everything. I thought we did. I mean,
Weird.
Speak for yourself, I guess. But unless someone wants to start paying us to do this podcast, then hey, I'll watch anything you want.
Absolutely.
Amazon. Hey, Bezos, if you want us to pay us to make this podcast, I'll watch everything on Amazon. I'll watch The Boys, which I gave up on in the middle of season 2.
Ah.
Hey. But by the way, nerds, The Boys season 3 just recently dropped on Amazon.
Oh yeah, like yesterday or something, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's another one that I never caught up with.
I thought the first season was great. I loved it. I thought it was very good. And then I started watching season 2, and for some reason I'm just like, I just don't.
Didn't do it for you.
Keep watching it. I don't know what it is. I'm just out of it. Honestly, I think a lot of it is that I'm getting real sick of interpretations of let's take a Superman character and make him evil. What if Superman was evil? What if Superman wasn't raised by okay, I don't need evil Superman. Okay?
Yep.
I've had so many evil Supermans in the last few years. I need actual Superman. I need actual positive, will do the right thing no matter what, trying to save everybody he can Superman. That's what I need. And The Boys isn't giving it to me. I feel like I don't know. The world is so shitty right now. I feel like
right.
I want
that positivity.
I want superheroes to give me hope. I don't want to watch a show about superheroes that are terrible people. Like I'm just not into it. Anyway, if you are, great. Season 3 is on right now. And Bezos, I'll watch all of it if you want to pay me. I'll watch all of it. I'll love it.
We will accept Bezos bucks in this case.
Yeah. Yes.
Also, Umbrella Academy, June 22nd for season 3. So,
dude, I didn't see that. Really?
Yep. Yeah. So all sorts of everything coming out. Like
June is
Obi-Wan into Ms. Marvel, which Ms. Marvel just had another trailer drop that looks even better, and you see the big fist. It does come out.
Oh, nice. They're like, we gotta give them. They're all mad.
Like, all right, they need to know this happens. It was probably one of those where they were like, all right, we're gonna hold this for the big reveal during the show, and then it's like, crap.
People are mad. Show them that she does it. Show them that she does the thing that they want her to do that we've already said she's not going to do.
Yep. The other news out of that was that, and I don't know if it's on the rundown. If it is, I missed it. But I think it just came out today that the rating for the show is going to be TV-14.
Really?
Yeah, so it's going to be like WandaVision, where there was the mix of TV-14 and PG episodes, but the series itself is, because there's TV-14 episodes, it's going to have to be a TV-14 rating.
I guess I thought all of them were TV-14.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Falcon and Winter Soldier was. But yeah,
so.
with
and Moon Knight.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be like right on that cusp of TVR. Or TV mature or whatever it is.
Right.
Why couldn't they have just gone with the same rating systems, by the way?
It's so annoying to me. Like, why does TV have to have a different rating system than movies? Like, just get together. Or change the movies, or just make them the same thing.
This movie's good enough for your 13-year-old, but this TV show, you got to be 14.
Yeah, I know. It's 1 year. It's not even like 5 years or something. It doesn't make any sense. Ms. Marvel also had a premiere this week in like a Hollywood premiere, the first 2 or 3 episodes or something they showed. And I don't know, from the people I follow on Twitter, I heard very good things about it. So
yeah, that's one I'm not going, just because I don't know the source material. I'm going to go in with zero expectations.
I've read maybe 1 or 2 Miss Marvel-y issues. I like them. Or I've seen her appear in other stuff. I've played her in the
game
video game. I like her as a character quite a bit, but similar to you, I don't have low expectations. I'm just going with zero expectations.
Right. Like, I've heard good things, and I would like to go in with a fresh mind and not, not hold my hopes up and not dash them.
Yeah, and I think it's the same. I can't remember when I said this recently on the podcast. I don't know if it was during our Doctor Strange 2 review or some other Marvel thing where I feel like I'm less emotionally connected to the MCU after Endgame. Just how I feel about it. And I'm still watching everything, and some of it I enjoy quite a bit, but I'm not going in with expectations like at all anymore. I'm just like, okay, you see a new thing, see what it is. That's how I did Moon Knight, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty good.
Right. The shift for me was after WandaVision, because I was one of those guys that was deep on the Mephisto train, just because there were so many things that were lining up, and I was like, it's got to be. There's no other way. It can't be. It's not.
It's not. Yeah.
Okay. And then it's like, okay, all of these stupid things going on in my head, it's like Pepe Sylvia level of like connecting the strings. And I'm like, all right, we're going crazy. Yeah. And it's like, if I just take a step back, and that's what I did with Doctor Strange. And I was like, this is a really good movie. Yeah. It's just fun. Like go in expecting nothing and come out with fun.
Right. But that was like the genius of WandaVision, though. Specifically, I feel like WandaVision was able to craft a mystery.
Yeah.
And it held things back longer than a lot of Marvel stuff does. And I like so many whiny fans now. I mean, like people are complaining about Kenobi in this way too. That there's just like they're not giving me everything I want immediately in every episode. Like, why is this a cliffhanger? Like, because there's like an arc to things and there's a pacing to things. And like if they just give you Vader in the first episode, then it's like they're not.
I was amazed.
Like,
I was amazed they gave us Vader as soon as they did.
Yeah, no, me too.
Spoiler alert.
But anyway, like I feel like fans are like, I mean, entitled fandom that bleeds into toxic fandom is a real issue. I feel like WandaVision was brilliant in it didn't really care about satisfying fans, and also hit at a time when we're going to watch it no matter what. We're all quarantined. We're scared to leave our houses. We're not, so we're all going to watch this thing. And it was able to craft this mystery and craft this way. There's like, you just had no idea what was going to happen next, which is like stands out from the other MCU shows where to me, every other MCU show that we've gotten on Disney Plus could have been a movie. But like WandaVision was specifically crafted to be a TV series and to take advantage of tropes and pacing and an episodic release schedule to tell its story. It was made to be a TV series. And like Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, Moon Knight, Hawkeye, those could have all been just movies. You just cut it, like do some editing, put together. This could have been a movie.
And I feel like Kenobi is specifically like this is a 6-hour movie or 5-hour movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same with the Star Wars stuff too. Like, well, Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's a lot more serial. That's designed as a serial.
Yeah,
like
especially
Western.
season 1. Yeah, season 1 was like, now I'm on this planet. Now I'm on this planet. But I mean, WandaVision kind of like captured our imaginations like that because it was a mystery. So we got us like theorizing because there's magic involved. Really, anything could happen. So like it really blew open like our imaginations about like, oh, what might they be doing? When it's like Falcon Winter Soldier, we're like, okay, only a number of possible things could happen here. So it's like it's not as like it's not spreading like wildfire as much as like WandaVision was as far as theorizing goes.
Well, and they didn't really craft another mystery like that until Moon Knight, where you just didn't know where it was going.
Yeah. Moon Knight was less of a mystery though, and more of a like, whoa, what is this?
Right.
Like mind, like just almost like psychedelic kind of.
Like where could this go next?
Turns. Yeah, exactly.
It's the roller coaster versus the escape room game where you're just trying to figure everything out.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, that was a big tangent considering we started talking about Lord of the Rings.
Totally tied right in.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on into comics, we got an announcement this week that Joe Quesada has announced his departure from Marvel after 24 years. You don't know who Joe Quesada is? Pay attention. He released this post on his social media, or a picture of like a letter on social media saying, after discussions with both my family and my family at Marvel, after 2+ decades, has it really been that long? The time has come for me to move on. As you can imagine, my love for the company, its characters, and all my coworkers runs deep, but I have an exciting new chapter that's about to begin, so the time feels right. I've had the great fortune to stand on the shoulders of giants, none more broad than those of my predecessors and mentors who put their trust in me, especially in the early days when it looked like I was selling tickets on the Titanic. I thought that was great. That's just a segment. It's a very long and heartfelt letter thanking fans, thanking co-creators and people that he worked with. Joe Quesada joined Marvel in 1998 as an editor on Moon Knight. He became editor-in-chief at Marvel Comics after just 2 years. Later became chief creative officer at Marvel, then took over as creative director for all of Marvel Entertainment in 2019 when Kevin Feige moved into the role that he currently has. So yeah, Joe Quesada has been with Marvel Entertainment in one form or another for the last 24 years. Had a big impact on the company. This is a big loss for Marvel. And,
and I think that just a editor's note, I think that was in '98 was Marvel Knights, not on Moon Knight.
You're right. Sorry.
Yes. It was the Marvel Knights imprint, which was like Daredevil, Black Panther,
Daredevil, Punisher,
couple
Elektra,
others.
like darker,
So in '98, when what's up?
Sorry, I definitely read Marvel Knights, and my hands just typed out Moon Knight. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. Subliminal Oscar Isaaking. But so he was kind of hired on to reimagine it. Actually, I believe because they were in such trouble, Marvel outsourced this to his company.
Oh, wow.
Like the Marvel Knight imprint, like these I think it was like 4 issues or 4 books that they had outsourced to whatever his company at the time was, and then they brought him in after a couple of years to editor-in-chief type role. But yeah, he's been around forever with as 98 would have been just after, only a couple of years after I even knew what Marvel was. So, he's been there and through the turbulent times for Marvel and into the ridiculously solid times that they're in now. Like he rode the golden goose all the way up, but
for sure.
He's been in the background for a ton of things. And it's when you're around that long, you're overseeing a lot of different projects.
Absolutely.
He's not without controversy. He did oversee many story arcs that people were not fans of, and many things that that didn't quite go in the way that like he was on the losing side of a couple of things, probably for the better. Do
you have an example of something that he did that you didn't love, or that he presided over?
Well, One More Day.
Okay, yeah, Spider-Man, One More Day.
He was the driving force behind One More Day. I believe the story was that he actively hated the Spidey MJ relationship, and Spidey not being like a young web slinger all over the place doing his thing, and just gutted the fan base with One More Day. And that was the definition of, at that time, like, it was the kitschy, here's your hook, we're gonna sell a bunch of books for this, without thinking about the continuity of it and what it's gonna do to people. Like, all right, I'm done with Amazing Spider-Man after this. Like, this was too much. But
I think, do you think that was him, or do you think that was like a mandate for continuity that went along with the movies? Because like, was around like Amazing Spider-Man was coming out, or I can't remember when One More Day was, but I feel like I remember thinking at the time that they were getting rid of his relationship with Mary Jane.
Yeah, Straczynski was
marriage with Mary Jane, not just relationship. Right. They were married. And did they have kids at this time, or was that something that
don't remember for that. I think that was alternate reality.
He had been married to Mary Jane for years and years and years and years and years, and then they retconned everything, so he was like just a teenager again. But I thought that was to put it back in line with what they were doing in the movies, but it definitely was pre Tom Holland. I think.
It was. So Straczynski, and think about this: the team on that was J. Michael Straczynski and Quesada on art.
Yeah.
Like, you want some heavy hitters? That's about as heavy hitters they get in the Spideyverse.
Yeah.
But they threw that story out there, and it didn't quite go as well. But that was 2007 that arc started. So
okay, well, so that was like between when did Amazing Spider-Man come out? 2008, 2009.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 was 2012.
Okay, yeah, so it was between.
Spider-Man 3 came out in 2007. So on top of...
I thought that came out earlier. Okay.
Yeah, on top of whatever the ridiculousness of Spider-Man 3 in the theaters was, then you also had One More Day hitting right there after it.
Wow, okay, so I'm wrong.
So that was like,
so
that's like
definitely...
Spidey downturn right there.
Yeah, huge pitfall for Spidey in 2007. I thought Spider-Man 3 came out earlier than that. But, yeah, wow, because then... Okay, yes, you're right. It was not necessarily with the movies then, because in Spider-Man 3, he's like an adult. He's out of high school. He wants to marry Mary Jane, but ends up screwing it up. Like that's a whole thing. And
in standard Spidey fashion, he finds a way to screw it up.
And I think it was a year or two before we realized that Sam Raimi was not going to make Spider-Man 4, and they ended up going the Mark Webb and Andrew Garfield route. So definitely independent of what was going on in the movies then. Okay, never mind. All right.
Crazy.
Interesting. Well,
but you had that, and then he was also part of the Marvel Creative Committee, which
really?
That whole basically it was him, Bendis, Dan Buckley, and Alan Fine. Were the Marvel Creative Committee that basically in the like Perlmutter versus Feige war, which Feige for the better ultimately won. They were being backed by Perlmutter in their like not wanting the direction the MCU was taking. They were going against what Feige wanted. In hindsight, I think Bob Iger at the time made the right choice and sided with Feige.
For sure.
So,
Kevin Feige used to have to work in conjunction with this guy Ike Perlmutter, whatever. That he was
notorious asshole.
Perlmutter was like in charge of like the TV side of Marvel, and that's why we got things like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that was supposed to tie into the MCU, and then they ended up not really tying into each other because they started out having to work with each other, and this Perlmutter guy really didn't like what Kevin Feige wanted to do with the MCU, and eventually Bob Iger made a decision to split them. So that's why connectivity with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Netflix shows took a big turn and like really kind of diverged from each other. But at the same time, it's also why Kevin Feige was able to do such grand, wonderful things that he's done with the MCU since then. And that's also why Inhumans was about to be a movie, because Ike Perlmutter really wanted to make an Inhumans movie. And once that split made, they canceled the Inhumans movie and made it a TV show that lasted one episode before it got canceled. Yeah. So anyway, goodbye and good luck, Joe Quesada. He hinted in his announcement that he has other things on the horizon. He's not even saying goodbye to the world of comics necessarily, that he will still be collaborating on some comics work, whether it be with Marvel or other people, and he's got some other stuff that he's working on too. So
and he over the years, like we bring up the controversy, but over the years he had a great track record with a lot of the things he did at Marvel. For sure. He will be missed, however, not without
not without an asterisk.
Yeah exactly.
In other comics news, Amazon continues to destroy Comixology, the app that was once ruled supreme as the way for people to get digital comics. Amazon bought it about a year ago, and it's just made it terrible. This is according to everybody that I know that uses it. I have never used Comixology, but
can confirm it sucks.
Yeah, they changed the reader interface. They changed the reader ability or the user. I don't know, to this.
Yeah, what they're basically trying to do is because they're like now through Amazon, you can
Yeah.
like through the Kindle app, you can read comics.
Yeah,
So they're basically, they're just taking the pieces from the Comixology app they liked, moving it over to the Kindle app, and just integrating everything. And it's like, okay, this is.
Yeah.
I mean, I read the first because I have an Amazon Unlimited, like Kindle Unlimited account for like reading real books. I was also able to read like the first trade of Invincible and Alan Moore's Swamp Thing and stuff like that. But, you know, there's a lot of dedicated people that loved Comixology and the interface. And actually, one of the curious things is they own comics in the Comixology app. And what is going to happen to that?
Well, for Android users, you now no longer can purchase books, comics, graphic novels, manga. You can now no longer purchase those through the app itself. They're saying that this is in compliance with some new update to the Google App Store or something. Whatever. I don't know. It just seems weird.
Well, maybe that's like a loophole thing, like for a while, like you can't buy Kindle books through the Kindle app or something like that.
Okay.
It was either that or oh no, it was Audible. You couldn't actually purchase the books in the app. You had to like purchase them online and through Amazon, and then they would show up in the app. And it's like, what? Why?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, I guess now if you want to buy something, it takes you out of the app and takes you to Amazon. So it's just another like, like fissure in the finding to reading comics like user interface. Like it's just another step that doesn't really need to be there. You used to be able to buy them right on the app and read them on the app, and now that's not the case. So that's a bummer, and I'm sorry for everyone that's using Comixology that has to go through this because it sucks for you.
Well, and at this point, you basically have to just rely on the publishers to have an app that doesn't suck.
Yeah. And I'll give a shout out to, this is another app I haven't used, but I follow a comic book publisher, Band of Bards, on Twitter, and they commented on this use, saying that's why that they specifically use Global Comics. That's Global Comics, Comix. And that seems just every day seems to be looking like a better alternative to Comixology based on everything that Amazon's doing to it. So that's there you go. There you go, comics people.
Thank you, Buffalo local Band of Bards.
Yeah. This week in your local comic book store, you got Amazing Spider-Man number 3. That's right. We're done with all that crazy 3 times a month Amazing Spider-Man stuff. Back to easier continuity, I guess. We also got Aquaman.
And easier numbers.
And easier numbers, exactly. Aquaman Andromeda, number 1, is undersea horror book for DC's Black Label. Very excited about that. Batman 124. This is the end of Joshua Williamson's run, making way for Chip Zdarsky to take over as writer for Batman number 125. Very excited about that. Gonna put that back on my pull list.
My first DC pull ever.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, buddy. We also got Batman Killing Time number 4. I got sad when I wrote this down because it means that I missed number 3, which I'm really bummed out about. That's a cool story. Blade Runner Origins number 12. Dark Crisis number 1 from DC. This is the sequel follow-up to the Death of the Justice League arc, and it follows up from that. Talks about the fallout from, what's a world without a Justice League look like, and where are we going to go from here? Interested to read that. We got DC Pride number 1 comes out this week. Dogs of London number 2. Oh, by the way, happy Pride Month. It's June. I meant to say at the top of the episode, and I didn't. This is our first episode of June. Happy Pride Month. I was going to wear my rainbow DC shirt, but I wore it the other night. Last night, to be exact, so it's not clean. Anyway, that's my little story. Happy Pride. Dogs of London number 2. Flashpoint Beyond number 2. Invincible Red Sonja number 9. That's not Invincible teaming up with Red Sonja. That's not like a crossover. That's the Invincible Red Sonja. But that would be a cool crossover. I'd like to see that. It would be. Yeah. Kirsten Tan's
Red Sonja that you now have a trade of, I believe.
Yes, that I knew it. I do now have a trade of that is sitting on my bedside table under the last 2 issues of Something Is Killing the Children and a number of other things. Swamp Thing, Alan Moore Swamp Thing Volume 5, John Ostrander's Suicide Squad Volume 2, just a whole lot of stuff. Are you about to show me something? You just wheeled off screen and came back. Or you want me to wait till I'm done with the list? Okay, we'll get to
we'll get it at the end of the list.
Kirsten Tan, Star Wars Tales #1, about your favorite Wookiee bounty hunter. Marauders #3, Nubia, Queen of the Amazons #1, Poison Ivy #1, a book I'm very much looking forward to. Rocketeer, The Great Race #3, Spawn #330, Star Wars #24, That Texas Blood #14, Thor #26, and Venom #8, all in comic book stores this week. Steve, what are you going to show me?
I don't know if you saw it last week, but the Something is Killing the Children issue that came out, the variant cover was a die cut with the mask.
Yes, they have been doing a number of those die cut covers. I have 2 of them. What is that issue number? That's 22.
23.
23. Okay,
Yep.
I have 20. I either have the one before that and the one after it, or I just have 2 before that, because I don't have that one, I don't think. I have one where she's...
Okay, so they might have done 21 and 22. They might have done before this one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I feel like it's been a while since I've read a Something is Killing the Children issue. I don't know if there was like a delay in putting them out or something, or maybe it's just me not remembering the last time that I read one, but it feels like a long time. But I also have 2 to read, so that's on me.
I gotta go back and look at the pile over there to see if there's more in there.
I need to do that because I feel like I'm worried that I missed one at this point, because I feel like it's been so long. I don't want to jump in and not know what's going on.
It's the blessing and the curse with monthly books. It's like,
yeah, I know.
It's like, did I read the last one? I hope I did.
Yeah, I hope I did. I think I did. Also got caught up on Tom Taylor's Nightwing and Tom Taylor's Superman Son of Kal-El this week.
I've read my first pages in Tom Taylor's Nightwing.
Oh, what do you think?
Exactly as you expect.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
The art is really incredible. The art is tremendous. Yeah, I think it's like a big splash in the first few pages of that, where it's him like jumping off a construction crane.
Yeah, it's just
Bloodhaven. Yeah, it's great.
It's great. I picked up the hardcover trade of the first, I think, 6 issues, whatever they did.
Yeah, I think so. Nice.
But yeah, that was you had me at hardcover and a series that's been highly regarded. So
yeah, that's probably one I'm gonna end up picking up in trade volumes as well, because definitely warrants a reread at some point for sure.
Very nice.
Cool. Moving on into some one-shots. These are stories that we wanted to mention, but not necessarily dive into forever. First off, we got the new trailer for the new CW DC show, Gotham Knights. We've talked about this show a couple times on the podcast. We don't really know what it's going to be like, or if it's going to be good in any kind of way. It's Bruce Wayne's son, although it's not any of the sons that we know of. It's a new character teaming up with different versions of like offspring of major villains, and also a version of Carrie Kelly, the Robin from Batman Dark Knight Returns storyline. This trailer just seemed like a whole lot of meh for me. Like there were nothing about it seemed like a DC superhero show, other than they talk about the main character's dad being Batman. Basically, the Batman dies, and this kid this kid is a suspect in the murder of his own father, being Batman, and has to team up with these other children of villains to clear their names. I don't know. I don't think there was one superhero costume in the whole thing, so I just kept looking for like recognizable things that would excite my nerdy heart, and I got none of them. So
totally makes sense.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see how this goes. CW has been canceling tons of their DC stuff. We talked about a couple weeks ago that we are pretty sure, or there's rumor that the CW is going to get bought by something else, and therefore will jettison a lot of their episodic television, and that's why they're canceling a lot of things. So we'll see how long this lasts. Something tells me it won't be long. I don't know. I just got a feeling about it.
Well, something we know exactly how long it will last will be the amount of time until you can watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness on Disney+. because apparently Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is coming to the streaming service on June 22nd, which we just learned is the same day that the Umbrella Academy Season 3 will be launching. Other big note from Doctor Strange is that it has now passed $900 million at the box office. Like,
that seems crazy.
So we talked before the pod that the week 1 to week 2 was the biggest drop in Marvel movie history, between the amount of people that showed up week 1 and those showed up the following week. But apparently, whatever that number was on week 2 just kept going because it almost hit $1 billion.
Yeah,
it's like how?
Yeah, and the reviews were mixed, and there was a big drop, like you said. So like, but I don't know. I guess a big drop for an MCU movie is clearly different than a big drop for any other franchise at this point. So I'm sure whatever it made on week 2, somebody like a DreamWorks movie or whatever would be thrilled if it made that
100%.
money in week 1, So who knows? But yeah, it seems really quick. I feel like didn't that just come out? Like it seems less than maybe.
Yeah, it really it came out beginning of May, didn't it? So
I guess it could be 45 days though, I guess. So
I mean, they may, putting the tinfoil hat on, it could be something they want to get on streaming and get people understanding before Ragnarok or Love and Thunder.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's July 7th or 8th.
It could be. It seems like Love and Thunder's. I mean, again, I haven't seen any trailers for Love and Thunder, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
But it seems that that's going to be more cosmic focused than magic focused. But I don't know. Who knows? Could be a post-credit scene that ties things together. Who knows? Speaking of posters, no, I said post-credit scene. I tried to tie.
Speaking of cosmic.
Speaking of cosmic, there you go, Steve. See, you're better at segues than me. We got the first poster and release date for I Am Groot, which Steve mentioned earlier, and this is something that I keep forgetting that is even happening. It's a animated series of shorts that's going to debut on Disney Plus starting August 10th. Just animated shorts about baby Groot. Not teenage Groot, as he is in current MCU continuity, and not full adult Groot, as we met him. Baby Groot, the kind that dances in a little pot and dances in the front of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I don't know. When they say series of shorts, I guess I don't know what that means, because there are shorts that are 15, 20 minutes long, and there are shorts that are like, there's like Star Wars shorts on Disney Plus that are like literally 30 seconds long, like BB-8 things.
Oh, those are great.
Less than a minute. They're great, but
my
so
son
short.
just always, he's like, can we watch the BB-8 ones? Like, yep. Yes, we can.
Yeah, we sure can, because it takes exactly 1 minute to watch 8 of them.
Right.
Or whatever, yeah.
But even the, what was the Powers of the Force? The women, like all the women of Star Wars, those shorts?
Yeah.
Those were really well done too. Like, and they were all like, what, 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere in there?
Right.
So yeah, you're right. There's just a vast, what is a short? It's anything under a TV show.
Short? Yeah,
I think it's anything under the 28-minute, whatever it is, 23-minute that a TV show would be.
Yeah, must be. Anyway, the poster was cool. Had him like kicking back as if he was relaxing on a beach, but he was in his little flower pot with clearly very small and adorable still. So we'll see what it's all about on August 10th. And Steve, this next one I gave specifically to you because I thought you would love talking about it.
Thanks, buddy. So the last month or two has the interwebs have been filled with Morbius memes and bringing back Morbius and like the hype surrounding it, and
but kind of like joking about
it. 100% tongue in cheek.
Everyone knows it's terrible, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it goes back to your prior comment way back at the beginning about studios and executives not understanding what portions of a fan base to actually listen to.
Yeah,
because Sony re-released Morbius in theaters this weekend. The internet made enough jokes and or memes to think it might work again.
It's like
even though it bombed the first time.
Yeah, it's like they were trying to force it into being a cult classic or something.
Yeah,
before it's even been out for 2 months.
And instead, all right, we're going to pause for a minute. Whoever's listening, guess how many zeros were involved in how much money this made. I'll give you a hint. It's below 6 figures.
Yeah.
It made $85,000
Total
this weekend. So, confirmation that this movie was not great. I believe this would be confirmation.
Yeah. And that's a lot of money for me and you, but if you're looking at box office, that's really nothing. Really nothing. I read, I don't remember who said this on Twitter, but someone on Twitter said that thinking that the memes and the jokes being made about Morbius makes the movie deserving of a re-release is the biggest misread. It's like the biggest boomer misread of internet culture in the history of internet culture.
That's got to be up there.
Just like older executives being like, they're talking about it. It must mean they like it. Let's put it back. Like, no, that's not why they're talking about it, dude. You made a bad movie.
Read the room, man. Read the room.
At this point, I really do want to see it, to see how bad, just to experience it for myself. A friend of mine that is a nerd and a Marvel fan, watched it. I don't know if he downloaded it or found like I think he pirated it or like an illegal streaming service or whatever. But he didn't even make it through the whole thing. He said it was so bad I turned it off.
Yeah.
So can't wait. Honestly, it kind of made me want to watch it more. So
yeah, that's.
I just want to know.
I've heard there were some pieces that were good, and that it was just so disconnected that you could barely even watch it.
I just want to know firsthand how bad it is.
Right.
That's what I just want to know. I want to be. I want to be staring at a screen in disbelief at how terrible the movie is, and I think that Morbius is going to do it for me.
There you go.
Ending on a couple Lucasfilm stories. Lucasfilm has confirmed Volume 2 of Star Wars Visions is coming in spring 2023. An anthology series of anime Star Wars related shorts that came out last year that I didn't even watch all of. I really liked. I watched like the first half of it maybe, and I liked it a lot, but I don't know why I didn't finish it.
Oh, you what ifed it?
Go back and do it. I what ifed it. Yeah, exactly. I Steve what ifed it.
Yep. I watched them all. Some of them were some of the coolest things I've seen out of Star Wars, and some just were weird.
Some were weird and wild. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. Like the stuff I liked, I really liked. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about that weird and wild stuff.
And I guess that's the nice thing with this sort of anthology with that many different studios, is you can have all these different tastes and takes on what that studio envisions this Star Wars story as. Yeah. So you can get like out of the 10 that were released or however many there were, like 4 of them were awesome, 2 of them were okay, and 4 of them were not my cup of tea. And that's fine. That's great.
And even the ones that I didn't think were my cup of tea, I know we talked about this when it came out, but like, and because they're not officially like canon, they can do all this crazy stuff. And so like, even if it's not my cup of tea, like there's an episode where somebody rides on the outside of an X-Wing with a lightsaber and cuts through a Star Destroyer going at like hyperspeed or something. And that's like should be impossible in the realm of Star Wars, but also like it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Sorry, anime, whatever you want. Don't get offended by I call it a cartoon, but it's animated. It's not canon and it's Star Wars. So like, give me wild shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Like fine. Because I'm never going to see that in a movie. So I'll watch it now. Fine.
Absolutely.
Indulge my crazy fantasies.
Yep.
Anyway, and we got one last one shot is also Lucasfilm related. Take it away, Steve.
That it is. We now have a release date for the animated show that I did not know that I wanted to continue watching until after I got through the series. Yeah. The Bad Batch is coming back on September 28th because September needs more shit. That Bad Batch, when I was watching it, and I think you were the same, it was like the whole time we were watching it, it was like, this is okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, as it got towards the end, I was like, no, it's kind of picking up steam. Like, I'm kind of liking this.
The whole fall of Camino thing at the end, I really loved. I thought that,
You know what they did? They Filoni'd the shit out of it.
Yeah. Yep.
First season, build. Okay, it's kind of good. Hooks her in.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
and I feel like that's like the season 1 is kind of like a kind of testing on what it can do. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they, they pull out some more special stuff for season 2.
Yep.
So,
I'm just glad we get Gungi back.
Yeah, that's right. We got a whole trailer with Gungi, the young Jedi that survived the Purge, apparently. So that's awesome.
You had me at wooden lightsaber hilt.
Yeah. I would also love more young Kanan. We just got him running away in the very first episode. Like, give us some more of that.
True.
That'd be awesome. All right, so that's it for the regular show. So goodbye to those of you who did not watch episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, or of those of you that have no interest in it, because we are going to wrap up the rest of this episode talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 3. So bye, people. But wait. Before you go, Steve's got something to say to you.
Before you go, please like, subscribe, tell other people about us. Talk to us.
Yeah.
Send us stuff. TheMultiverseReport@gmail.com. TheMultiverseReport.com. Multiverse RPT on Twitter. The Multiverse Report wherever the hell else you feel like finding us on social media. Call us. Text us. We don't care. Just get a hold of us. Send some reviews in. Let the algorithms know that you enjoy listening to us. And we'll be talking to you next week.
If you want to sponsor us, just send us a check. That's all you got to do. Send us a check.
Yeah,
every week.
Our names are listed right on the screen. You can figure out who to address it to. It's fine.
Yeah. Just send us a check and say, keep doing this. And I don't care. I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Say, I'll pay you to talk about what's something that I hate? Avatar. Make the whole next episode about Avatar. Here's what's our price point for that?
With that one, it might be a little tougher. Might be a little higher.
If you give us $500, we'll do a whole episode about Avatar.
Sold.
$499? No.
Right.
Even $5.
Gotta be.
So anyway, goodbye. Those of you who have not watched Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're not caught up. I don't want to. I really, especially this episode, I don't want to spoil for you. So jump off right now.
Go the hell away and come back to the 1 hour and 16-minute mark, and you will be finding our Obi-Wanversation.
Wow, we're at 1 hour 16 already. All right, maybe we won't spend forever on this.
No, we will.
Who am I kidding?
You know us.
We will. Yeah, I do know us. Me specifically. But okay, jumping into our Obi-Wanversation about episode 3. Steve, you start.
God damn it. Dude, the episode started on fire.
Yeah.
Putting Vader together.
Oh my god.
It was just
oh my god.
I was just sitting there the whole time, like jaw agape, just like, his arm. That's his arm. Oh, that's how that works. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then just the sealing of the mask with Hayden's eyes, and it's just like,
yeah.
He actually, dumb thought. They did a very good job in Clone Wars of making that version of Anakin look enough like Hayden that old Hayden now kind of has that, like, looked a little like Clone Wars Anakin.
Yeah.
Under the mask. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. That's great. I was losing my mind during that opening segment for sure. And then I guess I'll jump right in this because it kind of starts with Obi-Wan processing what he has heard from Reva. And then it's intercut. That's intercut with Vader getting out of the back of the tank, getting put together incredibly, as we just talked about. But then it is Reva speaking directly to Lord Vader on his throne on Mustafar. We get to see him sitting on his little throne.
We got to see Castle Vader.
Yeah. Which we saw very briefly in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
But we see his little throne and conference room, which I thought was great. Speaking directly to Reva, the third sister, promising her that she will be made the new Galactic Inquisitor if she can deliver Obi-Wan Kenobi to him. And now to echo what we talked about in the very beginning of this episode, to hell with all these idiot racists. I love Reva, the third sister. I think she's an incredible villain. What is not to like about? I don't understand why people don't like this character. I don't understand. I think she's great. People are saying that they don't like her because like, she's, I don't know, she's like playing by her own rules and whatever. And I was like, well, yo, she's a Sith, or she's trying to be a Sith. Like she's the
Right.
most Sithy Sith that's ever Sith. It's like she's just trying to like. She's super ambitious. She's like not letting anybody stand in her way. She killed the Galactic, or mortally wounded, or maybe killed. I don't know.
Just
if
kind
he's
of
dead,
poked with a stick, the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, or at least she thinks she killed the Grand Inquisitor to get to do what she wants to do, like to achieve her goal. She wants power. She's power hungry. She's motivated to do this. She wants to be standing at Darth Vader's side. Like that's some Sith shit right there, and she's doing it. So like, I get you might not like her because you don't want her to win because she's being good at being a villain, but like as a villain, she's great. She might be one of my favorite villains in Star Wars of the Disney era, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, she's killing it, and I'm curious now because she wants to get close to Vader for something. And we know she was at the Jedi. We're inferring that she was at the Jedi Temple.
Oh, wow.
So
you think she wants to get close to Vader to take him out?
I don't know.
To the Jedi Temple?
Does she hate Vader? Does she hate Obi-Wan? Like, we'll get into it later, but like when they were in the whatever, like if you want to call it the Jedi equivalent of the Underground Railroad there, when they were in the safe house.
Yeah.
Like that Jedi insignia, she was looking at that longingly. That wasn't there wasn't a burning hatred or anything. Like she looked at that very differently and focused.
It was more complex than just being mad that it was there or something.
Right. Now she still, like, she cut off that dude's or woman's hand in on Tatooine looking for Kenobi, or looking for the other Jedi. So like she's not a good guy.
No, not at all.
But she may hate Anakin just as much as, like, for killing all of her friends, as much as Obi-Wan.
I mean, think about like what Sith do over and over again. Like always two there are, right?
Yep.
One's in power and one's the apprentice. But then the apprentice always is like, hey, let's you and me overthrow this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Always never thinking that someone else is going to do that to them, right?
Right.
So like maybe Reva is trying to use Vader to get close to the Emperor, or knowing that maybe Vader will kill the Emperor and then I'll be his number two. Like
there's definitely some ulterior motive. Yep.
Yeah, she's got plans. She's like, she knows what she wants and she's going after it, which makes her a great villain, I think. So shut up, idiot racists that don't like her. She's incredible. I love her. I don't understand why people don't like her.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and you don't like her for a legit reason, like, let us know, because I would love to hear somebody's take on it.
Let's talk about it. I would love to talk about it. If you are not a racist and for some reason don't love her character, let's get into it for sure. But I think she's crushing it. I love it.
Speaking of crushing it, the actor that's playing Leia is just so good.
I love. I think my favorite part of this episode. You know what? I think I'm gonna say it. I think my favorite part of this episode was the interactions between Obi-Wan and Leia, whether it was while they were walking or while they were riding on that truck. I love the actress playing Leia. I love the dialogue between the two of them. Well, first of all, like getting out when he walked around the end of that truck and saw the Empire symbol. That was so cool. And by the way, that's I don't know if you saw this. That was Zach Braff was playing
the tentacle mouth dude. Yep.
Star-nosed mole creature. Like I thought there was more tension in this episode than has been in Star Wars in like a while. Certainly more tense than anything we saw in Book of Boba Fett. Like I feel like Mandalorian may have had a little bit, because we care about Baby Yoda or Grogu, like there's some tension there. But like the tension of them riding on a truck driven by a pro-Empire person.
Alien, nonetheless.
Yes. And then getting surrounded by stormtroopers and having to keep up this lie. Like he said, he calls her the wrong name. The stormtrooper calls him out on it. And then what he says is like, that was her mother's name.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look at her face and all I can see is her mother's face or whatever that line was. So it's like, that is incredible. And then
what
Leia
killed
picks
it
up
was
on
her.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, and then her knowing, like, you knew her, didn't you? You knew my mom.
Yeah. Are you my father?
Yes.
Like,
right?
I wish I could say I was. Like,
yeah.
Like, just
incredible.
you could see, and on McGregor's face, you could just see he portrayed that tension of like, I can't tell you that the guy who's ripping the galaxy apart is your father.
I know.
Vivian Lyra Blair is
is Leia.
Yep, is 10-year-old Leia.
She's crushing it.
Yeah, absolutely killing it.
I love it so much. I'll say this, like, because this is a thing of, I got to preface this because there are a lot of people online that are like, they claim that this show is like rewriting canon and erasing moment. I, for the most part, do not believe that at all. Like, I think that there are ways to interpret lines, like they're saying, like, oh, well, Vader says in A New Hope says, when I left you, I was but a learner, now I am the master. But, like, he could still be referencing when he left, like, when he left the Jedi Order, when he turned to the dark side, or when he left him on Mustafar or whatever. Like,
or we still have 3 damn episodes of the show left,
or
people.
We still have 3 episodes left to go. Yeah, exactly. Or also, like, Anakin was never granted the rank of master. Like, that's a plot point in Revenge of the Sith. Like, we're not going to, he's like, now I am the master because you didn't let me be a master. He's still referencing their history. It doesn't have to be, like,
direct.
He's not saying the last time I saw you. He's saying when I left you.
Right.
And, that can be open to interpretation. And by the way, people that are mad about that, Star Wars is already full of continuity issues.
Yeah.
Like, just look at the prequels versus the original trilogy. George Lucas wrote those prequels as if he hadn't seen those first 3 movies.
Look
ever
at Empire Strikes Back, the sequel to Star Wars.
Yeah, sure.
Completely screwed up a bunch of stuff in Star Wars.
Yeah, or just introduced a bunch of new stuff. Like, new stuff happens all the time. It doesn't always fit. Like, I don't know if we're going to get a reason why Obi-Wan lies his ass off to Luke when he first meets him in A New Hope. Maybe we're not, but if we don't, it's fine, because it's just whatever. It's a continuity error. A big continuity error that does bother me as a fan, and this doesn't fix it, it doesn't make it worse, it just, like, keeps it an error to me, is in Return of the Jedi, when Luke says, do you remember your mother? Your real mother. So saying, I know you were adopted, right? And Leia, like, yeah, I know that I'm adopted. You're asking me about my real mother. I will say that she was just fragments, whatever. She was beautiful. She was sad. And it's like, oh, okay, you're adopted, but you somehow remember your mother that died 10 seconds after giving birth to you.
Yeah.
This episode just, like, further confirms that. It's not like she learned she was adopted when she was older. She's 10 and knows that she was adopted because she's asking, you knew my real mother, are you my real father? Like, she knows that now. So it just, like, further makes that a continuity error in Return of the Jedi. It's just like, okay, all right, whatever.
Right.
I guess, like, if you're plugging holes, try to find a way to fix that, I guess. But, like, again, at the same time, I'm talking out both sides of my mouth. I understand. So I don't care. I loved the line. I understand that, like, these shows are trying to hit emotional beats right now for this show in 2022. And if those emotional beats are more important than matching up with a single line of dialogue from 1985, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, I'm fully on board with that.
Oh, they misspoke 20 years in the future because why not?
Yeah, because that was written 45 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they get out of the. I loved the stormtrooper falling onto that laser fence and getting cut in half.
Yep.
I also loved Obi-Wan making a point to shoot and destroy the laser bridge when it was so obvious that he could have just walked
around the other side. Yep. Yep.
Especially because they do, like, a big aerial shot right after it. And there's like, so clearly they could have just walked around that fence. That's not hard at all.
Yeah, when the camera panned down, I was like, oh, they're just gonna walk around this. Mm-hmm. Oh no. Oh, okay. Cool.
No, he's gonna
whatever
destroy
works.
it, and he's gonna destroy it so to make sure people know that something nefarious happened here.
I mean, the stormtrooper that's cut in half might
lead
towards that.
Yeah, but then we get, I don't know the character's name,
But,
the woman that's posing as an Imperial soldier.
Indira Varma's character. I think, is it like Talia or something?
I don't know the character's name. It took me forever to remember where I knew that actress from, and it was Game of Thrones, that she was on Game of Thrones.
Tala Durith.
Tala Durith.
So
I thought that was really cool, introducing a character that legitimately signed up because they at one time believed in what the Empire was doing, and then once they got involved, realized, oh, this is terrible. I have to get out of here.
Right. It's not
or I have to find a way to make right what I've done so far. I have to make amends.
It's not like Biggs and Luke who want to go to the academy and then join the rebellion.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm going all in. Well, it's kind of like Callus in Rebels. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. She's like, oh, I believe in this. Oh, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't believe in this anymore. We got a cool reference that Jedi Quinlan. Is Quinlan Voss, I think is his name?
Yep, Quinlan Voss.
Former,
I guess, compatriot of Asajj Ventress, Quinlan Voss.
Yes, absolutely. Once turned to the dark side and turned back in Clone Wars. He's also seen in Phantom Menace. I just read that today.
Yep.
That he's a background in Phantom Menace.
And if you ever want, again, novel, but Dark Disciple, really good. And it gives you a lot of background on Voss. He's one of those Jedi that, like, it's actually really cool to kind of get in his head for a bit.
Nice. Cool. I thought that was cool, like, way of, like, that was like, it was obviously an Easter egg for fans, but it was also done very organically, I thought. It wasn't just like fan service where it felt like it was like cramming it. Like, that's a natural thing. Like, clearly other Jedi have come through here.
Right.
And clearly Obi-Wan knows used to know a lot of other Jedi, so he would remember this character. And it's not like it's Mace Windu or something that's like a huge name drop. It's like, oh, this is like more minor character that like deep cut fans will get.
This character that was like mostly fleshed out in the movies or in the books and the comics, and like kind of great.
Yeah, but he was in Clone Wars also.
Right.
But yeah, okay. So let's talk about the end of this episode. We find out that there is a underground tunnel that's going to lead them to safety. Leia and the Imperial officer start going down the tunnel. Obi-Wan stays behind. Why does Obi-Wan stay behind? Because Darth Vader has landed on Mapuzo and is walking through town, wreaking havoc and snapping the necks of children as
Dude.
This is more like in line with like how we saw him in Rogue One, which I know a lot of people love. There are people out there that don't love the use of Vader in the Rogue One. I don't understand those people.
I did not know that was a thing.
One of the he's never going to hear this, so I'm not calling him out. One of the hosts of Star Wars Minute, a podcast that I love very much, just really doesn't like the Vader scene in Rogue One, and I don't understand why. Because for me and for a lot of other people, it's like, okay, yeah, we only know Vader in 3 movies, really, like Darth Vader.
Right.
We see him turn evil in Revenge of the Sith, obviously, but like we see him in that suit, as far as being an evil threat to the galaxy that people are terrified of. Yeah. We don't ever really see that.
No, you just see starting in episode 4.
We see starting episode 4.
Everybody's just shitting themselves when he is mentioned, but no real reason why.
Why, exactly. And so in Rogue One, we see why. And in this episode, we see why. He is ruthless with incredibly innocent townspeople that are just...
To the point where I was like uncomfortable at one point when he force chokes out the dad and his son comes out and he just snaps his neck.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, we got that Vader.
Yeah. Crazy. So Obi-Wan stays behind. It's not really clear why he stays behind. I think he stays behind because he just wants to like confirm maybe that it's Anakin or something, or what. He doesn't say like I have to face him. And and he doesn't necessarily like set out to face him. So I'm not really sure why he felt like he needed to stay behind. He probably should just run.
I would think it was more like, especially when she was with Tala, like, okay, get her away, and like he wanted to try and buy some time for that, not realizing how horribly overmatched he is at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, it totally makes sense. That's yeah.
I read something on somebody post. It was like a screenshot of a Reddit thread on Twitter. So I don't know who posted this, but basically talking about like you have to realize like the mental state that Obi-Wan is in right now. Like he, in order to attempt to stop the Empire from rising, he in his mind thought that he killed his best friend.
Yeah.
And spent 10 years thinking that he was dead, and he did that. But it didn't stop it didn't work. He still failed. He did that, and it didn't work. And not only did that not work, but then now he knows that it also caused his friend to become this worse version of himself, that is continually helping the Empire do these terrible things. So in a way, he almost helped Anakin become even worse than he was. And that is the mental state of Obi-Wan Kenobi right now. He's a completely broken man at this point. Like he struggled to use the Force when he had to save Leia in Episode 2 from Fallen. Like that was a struggle for him.
He's cut himself off from the Force for 10 years, like
more or less.
It's not like riding a bike.
I don't think he's cut himself off, but he certainly hasn't, because he's trying to contact Qui-Gon.
Right.
Which we're not going to get till the season finale, obviously. Right. But
yeah, it's either going to be like episode 5, end of episode 5, or episode 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so he's still using the Force, but he hasn't had any public displays of the Force. He's certainly not up to speed.
Right.
It doesn't come as natural to him as it does to Anakin, Vader, clearly.
And from what we're seeing, he's definitely not sitting in his hut doing lightsaber katas. Like, because he's terrified to get caught. He's in hiding. He's not using the Force. He's not using his lightsaber. Like, he is shut down. Mm-hmm. He probably hasn't used the Force publicly in at least 10 years. So, so anyway, Vader mops the floor with him. Literally at one point.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, lights whatever that was on fire, and that just slowly drags him through it.
Yeah, that was.
And merciless. It's just like, oh god, you can see the headspace that Anakin is in, of like, I finally found him, and I'm going to make him suffer as much as I suffered.
Yeah, him standing there and like the fire reflecting on the suit and stuff it's a great image.
Oh yeah, cinematography wise, and all I could think of in that scene was his funeral pyre, with the flames off of the eyes.
Yeah, you're right.
It was just like that's all that came to mind. I was like, wow, I don't know if it was supposed to be a callback, but it worked well as one.
Right. This is possibly controversial. I felt like the direction of some of this fight wasn't great. I felt like there's just like kind of running around between like mounds of dirt. Like Obi-Wan gets up and runs, and it kind of cuts. Like the editing was like strange.
Yeah, a lot of weird jump cuts, and
I felt like there could have been bigger tension, or in like a better environment or something. Like it wasn't really like, they're clearly gonna like fight again. Like it's not like the last time, so they're probably saving it for more like of an epic fight later on or whatever. But I don't know. It was like choppy, and I couldn't tell like he just ran around that pile of sand and is now in between two other piles of sand, and now Vader suddenly like it's just like where are these people walking and coming from, and it just the direction seemed a little choppy.
And that's I thought about that after the fact and after I saw it for a little bit, and it's like I can tell what Deborah Chow was going for in that. It's like she wanted to put you in Obi-Wan's headspace of everything is kind of jarring and shaky and not quite like the jump cuts are like the blocks in his memory or like the blocks in his reaction time, and like you're supposed to be out of it, and then Vader just appears because Obi-Wan's so rusty that he doesn't, or just like freaked out that he just doesn't sense him or whatever. But I'm with you that it it could have been done a little differently. It could have been done better. But yeah, that was my after seeing it, I kind of sat down and had a long talk with myself, thinking, what happened here?
Yeah.
By that I mean it was like a passing 3-minute mental state. But
the other thing that doesn't make a ton of sense, but it's also like just movie magic or TV cutting corners, is it just Reva showing up at the end of that tunnel? Like, how the hell does she know where that tunnel ends?
Right.
When she catches Leia at the end, I get it. You need Reva to catch her, fine. But I don't know. It seems like there's literally no way she could have known where that was unless she used some force.
No, just
something.
At the end, instead, just set it so that she catches her in the tunnel before she gets to the dude.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But it's fine. I that's not a big sticking point for me.
No.
We did get in the credits. We did get James Earl Jones voicing Darth Vader officially, but I'm pretty sure they're using the same.
They confirmed it was Speechify. Yeah.
Oh, they did.
Yep.
Okay.
Or Respeech or whatever the hell it's called.
I think Respeecher is what they used for Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, they confirmed it was the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
Because otherwise, they did not confirm whether they did not confirm whether he read the lines or Hayden read the lines and they altered it or anything.
I don't think they.
Yeah, but it was definitely it was confirmed that it was whatever that software package is.
It does make sense that they would have to credit him because they are using his voice.
Right.
They're feeding his voice into a machine, and then the machine is talking as him. So yes, you have to give him credit. But I don't think he's using those lines because even in Rogue One,
he is more machine than man at this point.
That's actually, you know what? You're true. You are true. That's true. In Rogue One, you could tell he sounded a little bit older. He did do it. He did voice he did voice Vader in Rogue One, and
Rebels.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yes. And you can tell that he sounds a little older.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound bad. He still sounds like Vader, but he sounds a little bit older. It doesn't.
Yeah. There's a different gravelly something going on.
Exactly. So, again, I'm fine. I know some people think that's gross or think it's strange or freaks them out.
Right.
I'm fine with it because both Mark Hamill and
James Earl Jones.
Blanking on his name. James Earl Jones. Yeah, I just said it 2 seconds ago. Are alive. They have clearly signed off on their Lucasfilm's ability to do this. So if they're okay with it, I'm okay with it too. And especially, I know in this case of Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill's very involved in the blocking and the acting and the motion capture and stuff like that. So that's totally fine with me, even though it is weird. If you think about it, it's weird that they can do that, but they can do it. And I like seeing Luke Skywalker and I like hearing Darth Vader. So
yeah,
I'm fine with it.
Right. If Hayden's reading those lines, it just doesn't quite sound the same.
Yeah. We're going to have to get a scene of him talking to Obi-Wan with the mask half off, right?
I would assume either that or flashback.
Okay.
You don't bring Hayden back for just the 2 cuts in the back to tank.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You don't bring him back to just put him in a back to tank. You don't put him back. You don't
Although
bring him back
he is in the suit.
Him in full suit. I know he's in the suit, but he doesn't have to be. You don't bring him back for that. I feel like there's got to be a scene where he is half unmasked.
I do. Yeah, maybe it's in their final showdown where he, for confirmation to show Obi-Wan what he did.
That's so awesome. Here's what. Okay, this is super controversial, and it goes against many things that I have said as a Star Wars fan. I hate the special editions. I hate all the dumb shit that George Lucas put in. And yes, I know we're way over time. I'm going to say this anyway. If they're going to make any more edits, revisions to the original trilogy, the one thing that now I kind of want them to do is at the end of Return of the Jedi, replace young Hayden Christensen with older Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
It would just make
if you've already taken Sebastian Stan out.
Sense. You've already taken him out. Give us not Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian Shaw. Sebastian Stan.
Why did you remove the Winter Soldier from Return of the Jedi, Lucasfilm?
No, they put him in instead of Luke because he's young Mark Hamill now. So we're doing the
Hayden Christensen's already in there. Take the 23-year-old version of him out of there and put in the however old the 40-year-old version of him now.
Right.
Like it would make so much more sense. Please do that. Like I'm saying, please do that. And that's crazy for me to say, please alter these movies further because I hate that you did it the first time. But
wait, you mean Lucas kept retconning things? Weird.
Yeah, weird. What? Star Wars fans are the worst. They get mad about the dumbest shit.
Yep.
Like racism. So anyway, that's all I got. I love this, and I'm looking forward to loving it more. Currently, I feel like it's one of my favorite Star Wars things we've gotten from the Disney era.
Yeah, agreed.
I love it.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will continue to be.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see you on our Obi-Wanversation episode 4.
Yeah.
And also Ms. Marvel comes out this week too. So are we going to try to do Ms. Marvel and Obi-Wan?
We'll play it by ear. We'll
see. All right, I guess then that's all we got. Unless you got anything else about Obi-Wan episode 3, Steve?
No, just that, like you said, this has been my favorite of the new things that we've seen in a long time. Like probably,
yeah.
I love Mandalorian. I'm trying to remember when things come out.
Yeah.
But like post Rebels, like I really enjoy Mandalorian, but this is hitting a very different note for me.
Yeah, it's something about having like the main character be a main saga character that elevates it for me. Like this is like directly tied into the episode saga films, Skywalker saga films.
Yeah,
Mandalorian isn't, even though Luke Skywalker's in it, but it happens after or whatever, like
right
between, and he's not the main character. So
yeah, I feel like I either need to be in it or out of it.
Way out of it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like either that, like that. Well, that's why I was so excited about Rogue Squadron, because I was like, give me fighter pilots, or like if you're going to make an Old Republic thing or a High Republic thing, like Acolyte, I'm really excited for because it's way out there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
And I feel like our episodes have been long lately, so sorry about that, listeners. But we really appreciate you listening. And thank you for doing that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time, we will see you in the multiverse.
Okay. It was only an hour 46.